This is a Syok podcast. Syok.
This is Syok Life Confessions podcast with me, Reza Abraham. Our next guest made Malaysia proud in 2021 when the company he co-founded back in 2015 became the first unicorn in Malaysia and put Malaysia on the list of only 48 countries in the world that have a technology business that achieves a value of over $1 billion. Let's welcome Carsome, co-founder and the CEO of Carsome Academy, Southeast Asia's largest integrated car e-commerce company, Jiun Ee Teoh.
Thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So shall we call you Jiun Ee Teoh, or you have like a short name you want to say?
Yeah, so most people will call me JT.
JT?
Yes, right.
Why is that?
So I used to study in the UK.
Okay.
Back then, I still remember that my student card is basically J and T. Why is that? Because obviously your first name will be in the front, and then your last name will be the last, right? So that's why the middle name, Jiun Ee, E is taken off. So hence it's just Jiun and Teoh. Hence why it's the initial is J and then T.
So it wasn't something that you wanted to happen, but it's somehow rather you got it.
Well, I think the reason why I stick with JT is also because most people cannot pronounce my name very well, or sometimes people just sort of can't remember my name. So that's why I was thinking, okay, let's do JT.
So let's get into our conversations. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What was your journey, and how did you get where you are?
Okay, a little bit background of myself. I was born in Kedah. I was born in a family of 4, including myself. So I have an elder sister, and my mom is a housewife. My dad was a civil servant. He works for Felda previously. Now he's retired. And I still remember back then in 1991 or 1992, we moved to KL. So technically I was raised in KL, a KL boy. Back in school days, I still remember I was actually a very ambitious kid, always wanting to do a lot of different things, wanting to create an impact. So I still remember in primary school, I was a huge fan of Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played Pokemon. Anything related to Pokemon, I was into it, right? And I still remember that I was playing Pokemon cards. I was actually making money out of it as well.
Wow.
So
this is like what age?
12 years old.
Wow. So now we can see where the entrepreneurship come from. Okay.
So back then it was Pokemon card and a little bit of CD selling as well. So back then you should remember we have like LimeWire or something like this. So I downloaded this kind of stuff and then burn it into CD and then start selling to my friends.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of an entrepreneur kind of spirit I had that back then, but it was purely just wanting to gain some pocket money, to buy something that I like,
Yeah. So where was that drive comes from? Was it something that you always think about it? You wanted to get rich, or you wanted to have pocket money? You wanted to learn how to do business?
Not really about business back then because I was so young, right? I think it was just purely wanting to buy more stuff.
What stuff?
Back then it was Pokemon cards, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to sell my Pokemon cards, buy more Pokemon cards.
Sure.
Or maybe, buy something that I like a Digimon things and things like that. My mom and dad obviously can't give me so much money back then, so I need to find a way. So that's how it goes about. Primary school and high school. I still remember when I was in college and university, I was also not really sure what I wanted to do. I still remember after I graduated from Form 5, I was very eager to just jump straight into college. So back then I don't know what I want, and I still remember that I tried to find something more safe. Traditional parents will always tell you that you should pick something like accounting, doctor, lawyers, and something like this. Yes, so pretty much that. And I decided to go for accounting. And that's the thing. I have no knowledge on accounting at all.
Wow.
But I just want to jump into something and get myself ready for the
So were you
industry.
good in mathematics or something?
Yeah, I was pretty good in mathematics.
Okay. So you're a number person generally.
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think that's why it sort of leads me to took up accounting. And unfortunately, just 6 months down the road, I failed my accounting.
Oh my God. This is like when you were doing it. So you were in the university itself.
Yep.
Okay.
Accounting. Yeah, I failed accounting.
Sure.
And then so I went back home. I let my parents know that I don't like accounting. I wanted to change the field.
Sure.
So yeah.
How difficult was it to tell them?
It was difficult because I think parents obviously want our children to finish their studies, whatever the route they have chosen.
Yeah.
But not for me. So obviously I can't really explain how sad I am to tell them this story. But at the end of the day, I just sort of told them and said that I don't like accounting. I would like to try something else. And yeah, they agreed. They are okay with that. So I took up advertising and marketing communications.
Oh, wow. That's a big shift.
Yeah.
It's a completely different field.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think when I took accounting, it was just a very rash decision. Just wanted, like I said, I wanted to get myself quickly into the industry. But after I failed that, I started to think twice. I need to do something that I like to do. I chose advertising and marketing communication. And thankfully, my parents supported me all the way, given me the opportunity. So I have enrolled in that course. And yeah, so I graduated from there. I finished my studies in the UK. In the UK as well, I was also very eager to come back.
Okay.
So I was there for about a year, and I just quickly want to come back and look for a job.
So your accounting also was in UK at that point?
No. So it wasn't accounting. It was actually a bachelor in marketing. Yeah.
Okay.
So I took up a bachelor in marketing in UK. It was an affiliation program by the university itself.
I see.
So yeah. Then I came back and immediately I looked for a job.
Great.
So my first job was in the advertising industry. I worked in MediaCom previously, and that's where I sort of got to know a new friend. His name is Eric Cheng.
Sure. So that's how it all got started.
Yeah, so I was from the media. I'm from the client side. Eric was from the media owner side.
Ooh. So you guys are like, so your first relationship was like a vendor and a client.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Vendor and client, and then along the way, I just feel like I wanted to do more, and I found that vendor side is actually pretty interesting.
Sure.
And Eric sort of recruited me.
Oh, wow.
and I got into the company, which is called Inity. So me and Eric both were in the same team together. We were in sales, so we were basically selling advertising space on a website.
Sure.
Yeah, so both of us were pretty ambitious, and we always wanted to do something of our own. And hence why we spoke about business, and thereon Carsome started from there.
So I want to bring you back a little bit about the first time that you guys met each other. So what did you see in him that it's kind of like initiated the friendship between both of you?
I see that he has the drive. He's a very objective person. I work with him together in the same team, right? So from there, I can be able to see how good he is in terms of how he talks to his clients or people, right?
Sure.
So yeah, so I definitely can see that part of it, that side of him, and it sort of convinced me that Eric is so good.
Okay.
Right? So I joined him in his venture in Inity. So we work in the same team, and we were always working with different clients, automotive, F&B, So mostly these are the things that sort of convinced me that we are great partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about your side? Like, what was your strength that it made him realize that I want to bring you with me? Because obviously, it's always a two-way thing, right? So what was about you that do you think complemented him in that endeavor?
I think it's likewise. He's seen the drive in me as well.
Okay, so you also had that drive
I have the drive all the way since.
Sure.
Yeah, so I mentioned before, right? I always wanted to jump into the industry, starting to earn money and things like that. So
the Carsome got started, and what was the exactly the moment that you guys having a discussions, and then was it you saw a pain point in the industry? What was the story behind that? Why Carsome?
So it sort of brings back to the kind of experience that we had in terms of how we want to sell our car or buy our car.
Was it yours or more of both of you basically have this experience?
Both of us. So Eric back then was trying to sell his Vira.
Okay.
I was trying to sell my Myvi. And I was also trying to help my sister to buy a new car. Right?
I see.
So the whole selling and buying experience are pretty similar.
That's true.
So whenever you want to, let's say you want to sell a car today, you would probably go to different dealers and ask for, evaluate my car price, right? So that's the kind of haggle and experience that you have to go through when I negotiate with the salesman and things like that, right? So, and the thing is, at the end of the day, you're not too sure whether you are getting the right price, and you're not sure whether your car condition is that bad, right? Because sometimes they would just sort of tell you that your car condition is bad, and obviously you're not a technical person, you don't know much about engines and stuff like that. So that's why this is the lack of transparency that's happening in the industry itself, and we feel like this is a pain point that we can solve. So we think about other platforms that we can build as well, like technologies, mobile, travel website. But yeah, because of that pain point, it sort of leads us to wanting to start a platform, helping customers to sell their cars.
Yeah. When I was preparing for this interview, I recently completed one of the book from Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules of Life. And he talked about the best businesses is always when you bring something which is right now is a chaos and you bring an order into it. So you turn something which is totally mess and then you make it nice, right? So you guys were going through this experience. So you wanted to sell a car. Eric also wanted to sell a car. So what do you saw that you picked that as your chaos that you want to bring to order? Because, we all like day in, day out, we always experience, we see a lot of things like, this is so hard, this is tough to do. But we don't see like, okay, this is a business, that I can build it.
I think, like I mentioned earlier, it's really much on tackling the pain points in the industry, right? So everybody, when they want to sell a car, they will go through a certain process. In our minds is how do we cut short these processes and ensure they can sell the car immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, without any haggling or all this kind of experience, right? So we decided to just take a leap of faith and then start this business. I think I wanted to also talk about the early days of Carsome before we actually transform ourselves into the used car platform.
Sure.
When we started Carsome in 2015, it wasn't a used car platform. It was a car buying comparison website. So if you want to look for a new car, go to Carsome and you look for your next awesome ride.
With a certain level of assurance that what you see is basically it's real, it's genuine.
Yeah, so I think when I mentioned that tagline, your next awesome ride, I think you sort of know how we got a name.
Carsome.
That's right. Yeah.
So you get an awesome car.
So you look for your next awesome car, that's why Carsome.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I think our vision has never been wavered since back then until today.
Sure.
Even though that we have pivoted our business model along the way, where it's the first beginning where we are more on the advertising model and we pivoted to more on the transaction model.
Yeah. So where you guys have like, when you saw the problem, was it like, okay, I'm coming from technology background, or because none of you is like, it seems like you're coming from technology background. So both of you were in like advertising.
That's right.
So how did you know that you can actually solve this problem? That is a lot of like courage basically to me,
I think we need to speak to a lot of people. So I still remember when we pivot our business to a used car business, we actually spoke to quite a number of experienced people in the used car industry, and they sort of gave us an idea of how it all works.
Okay.
So we understand that entire disruption that's happening, and hence why we basically also recruited some tech guys as well, explain the business that we want to do, whether that is feasible or not. And the answer is we can do that, no problem, right? So we just started doing it. I think more importantly is sometimes when you have an idea, we cannot be stuck at the idea for too long. We need to be able to move the needle. Once you move the needle, from there you learn along the way on how to basically move the things around again. So that's how me and Eric both decided to sort of hire a team just to build that website, and at the same time starting to hire some BDs, customer service as well. A small team of 4 back then in Kelana Jaya. So
4 of you. Everything started with 4 of you.
4 of us.
How many you guys have right now? How many total number of staff?
More than 4,005 people.
Wow.
Across the Southeast Asia as well. So right now Carsome is not just in Malaysia, we are also in Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, China, as well as Philippines.
Okay. So how did you guys complement one another? Like, so what's the role that you have in the company, and what about Eric?
So I think when you first started the business with a small team, right? We are like CEOs, right? Chief Everything Officer, right?
Yes.
So of course, I mean, it's all about how we divide our roles, right? So Eric was more towards on the strategic person, fundraising, and I'm more towards on the operations side. So I was a COO, he was a CEO.
Okay.
So it all started with that, and then along the way we hired great people come into the business, and then from there we basically empower them, have them to be leading a team as well.
But who are you as a person? Are you more of like an introvert person, extrovert? People always have like 3 types of life: public life, private life, secret life. So who you are in your public life, private life, and if you want to talk about secret life also can.
I think I'm pretty much like in the middle. I wouldn't say I'm too an introvert.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm too extrovert as well.
Okay.
Sometimes I think along the way when you grew up, you started to know yourself more, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, and things like that, right? So for me, I like to mingle around with people, definitely. But at the same time, sometimes I would also want to be alone. So the me time is very important.
Oh, wow.
Because that's where you sort of recoup yourself. Whether you are going through whatever experience that you have, the me time is where you sort of like, understand more about yourself, how do you move forward and things like that. So I'm more of like in the middle kind of person.
Okay. So what makes you happy, since you said what makes you happy makes you sad?
Wow, there's a lot of things that make me happy.
In
right?
business, what makes you happy?
Of course, you can see the business grow.
Okay.
Yeah, and not just the business, but the people in the team that you see. Let's say, for example, someone that you hired at the beginning, seeing them grow to a certain level, that makes me very happy.
Great.
Yeah, of course, other than that, family is very important to me. Seeing my family happy makes me happy as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what makes you sad?
Oh, wow. Sad, of course, things didn't go well. Yeah, that would definitely make me sad. I think very much, I set a very high standard for myself. And whenever sometimes I know that I didn't meet my expectation, then I will feel sad. Yeah.
So then you move on and become the Carsome Academy CEO. Why did you select that? And I can see that you have a passion for people. So that is something that clearly appears in our conversation as well. So why did you select that and what was your main motive?
So just give a little bit of background of how Carsome Academy actually started, right? Carsome Academy was born out of the height of pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, so in 2020, when COVID hits us, obviously we are all in lockdown. We are unable to move. This is the best time for us to actually look at how can we be able to improve whatever that we need to improve in the organization, right? So we looked deep down in the organization and we realized that there's not much training done in the organization, right? So the past 5 years from 2015 to 2020 was all the way firefighting, getting your numbers, hitting your milestones and things like that. So 2020 was actually a pause to actually let us realize how important it is for us to upskill our people. So I started an L&D department. Why me? Why do I do this? Because I love seeing people learn and grow. By seeing that happening, it makes me feel very fulfilled.
Sure.
So that's why, I had a conversation with Eric. Basically, this is something that I would love to do. I would love to pick that up. Hence why I became the Carsome Academy CEO. So we started the L&D department and we realized that, our technicians, I would say our inspectors, they are being tasked to do inspection job on a day-to-day basis. But because of lockdown, they cannot be able to do so.
Okay.
So what do we do with them? So obviously we need to come up with different kind of online trainings, and we have done that training every single day just to refresh their memories. The whole purpose was just to ensure after COVID we can be able to go back up strong again. By doing so, we realized something as well, and we realized that our inspectors do not have a certificate. Whatever they're doing on a day-to-day basis is something that they're not being recognized as well. So then we took this opportunity to actually realize and research that motor vehicle inspection is something that is not being picked up by the country. We decided to take this opportunity and use the motor vehicle inspection that is available in JPK, and we customized the program to make it our Carsome module. So in 2021, we officially launched our Carsome Academy together by launching our program to allow students to study with us for a year. 30% of the time they will be in a classroom, and 70% of the time they will be working on the job. So that was how Carsome Academy started in 2021, and along the way we've also expanded ourselves into Indonesia and also Thailand. So right now Carsome Academy is in 3 countries. We want to ensure that we can continue to upskill the current workforce, not just in Carsome but also the industry as well, where you're looking at so many different technologies these days, like EV for example. Yeah, so this is a hot topic that has been discussed by many countries as well, and we need a lot of technicians on that. So how do we do that, right? We need to continue to upskill them, and by doing so, we can ensure that our people can continue to have more career progression. Yeah, not just sticking at the same level at the moment. That's how it came about.
So you guys started the business with a pain point. What was the point that you felt like, I love this? You fall in love with the company, and was there any pinnacle that you felt like this is gonna be a great thing? When you look back right now, I'm sure it was like when you started with the 4 people, you never knew that it's going to be like 4,000 people. So when was the point that you guys realized like this is going to be big things and I fall in love with it? So
before we actually started the business, me and Eric both have already set foot our vision to be in the regional footprint. So not just in Malaysia, we are already looking at Thailand and Indonesia. So purely again, it's really about solving a pain point and able to see that we have able to revolutionize the used car industry. It sort of gives us more confidence to continue to provide more solutions for our customers. So that's where it sort of gives us the confidence when we see people selling cars to us with the entire process is done so easily. That sort of gives us the confidence. So customers gave us the confidence for us to keep going and build the business.
But do you love it?
I love it.
What do you love about it?
I love that we are able to revolutionize the entire used car industry experience when it comes to car buying and selling.
So how do you find people who love this business too? Because that is one of the always pain point of entrepreneurs, finding people who has the same passion as you. So how do you find that?
I think first and foremost, we are already in multiple different countries in Southeast Asia. I think that's already an attraction for the people to join Carsome. At the same time, because we always want our people to grow, so we empower our people as well. So hence why they are able to basically grow from our company sort of sets a difference between other companies as well. So when you join Carsome, you can be able to not just work in the regional scene, you are also exposed with the market in Indonesia or even in Thailand, and that sort of gives you more knowledge, and that also sort of makes them feel more fulfilled as an employee.
Okay.
Yeah. So how do we attract people? Definitely is always about the vision that the Carsome is all about, right? Providing the peace of mind when it comes to car buying and selling experience.
Sure.
So of course, some people join us because they love cars, right?
Yeah.
But along the way, when they join us, they realize that what they're doing is basically solving the industry pain point.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So I have a few business ideas as an entrepreneur. So definitely you are like someone like, you can see there and say like, you never know that this is going to be a unicorn company, right? So I have some business idea. I want to ask you, which one would you invest in?
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is gamified fuel efficiency tracker.
No.
No. Virtual car customization studio.
Virtual car customization studio. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So virtual reality test drive.
No.
No. Car performance tracking app.
Nope.
Augmented reality car manuals.
I would say no as well.
Okay. So you only picked the virtual car customization studio.
Yep.
Why did you pick that?
I think we are looking into probably, one day build a car of our own. So I think the virtual car customization studio will be good as a Kickstarter. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the pain point there? Like how do you I'm trying to understand, like how do you know something is going to be big?
You need to look at the trend of the industry itself and look at the amount of people interested in the part itself, right? So like as I mentioned, right, car modification is something that we never really talk about, right? So I think that by having that customization studio, it sort of allows the user to be able to be creative about how they can customize their car. Yeah. So I think that is something that is lack of at the moment.
Sure. So if you can actually work with any car manufacturer in terms of like car manufacturer or maybe technology company that you want to basically have a groundbreaking projects, which is like doesn't exist right now. So who would you like to work with and what kind of projects that we can expect in coming future?
Very good question.
You can pick the name out.
I'm not sure if I should mention names, right? But I think manufacturing side probably want to work with more of the electric car manufacturers. Yeah, and if you talk about technologies, I think VR is something that I'm interested in. Yeah, like for example, if you want to buy a car today, VR can help you understand how it sort of looks like. And I think right now even in Carsome Academy, right, we actually adopted the VR technology to help our students to be able to understand like how to inspect a car starting from the first point all the way to 175 points. Yeah, so our students basically go through that program and learn how to start inspecting cars virtually first before they actually touch the cars.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. That is pretty clever move to go for. So one of the interesting things that I saw about your company, basically, so both of you are pretty young.
Okay.
You are in your 3 series or 2 series?
3
series. Okay. And it seems like you guys love football.
Yes. Yes, we do.
So I was very curious to know, like, why did you guys choose Eric Cantona as your brand ambassador? I know the main reason is because Eric name is similar. Okay. Beside that, what was the reason?
Of course, I mean, choosing a brand ambassador, definitely we have to go through a certain process, criteria and requirements. So Eric Cantona fits the requirement, and I would say that his relentless spirit in terms of wanting to win, it sort of resonates the values of Carsome as well. So Eric Cantona is amazing. I met him personally.
Nice.
And he's so humble. Yeah, a great person.
I think he has a lot of fans in Malaysia as well.
Oh, yes. Typically, Man U has a lot of fans in Malaysia, right?
Okay. All right. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is about, like, so when I was preparing for the interview, in fact, I was watching the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder like discussions that every year happen, and then they have like people like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, they come and talk about it. So they were talking about Elon Musk, and one of the reasons that actually a lot of people believe in him because he's an excellent executor, and it kind of reminds me of like what you guys have done. Both of you, it seems like you guys are like great executors as well. There's a lot of people actually, they want to solve problems, but they are not good at executing things.
Yep.
So what is your message to young entrepreneurs that they're trying to basically get something done, but they don't know how to scale it? Mm-hmm. And then, so what are the, like, if you want to share like tips on what drives a great execution? Because you can have all the ideas in the world, but if you don't know how to get it done, it means nothing. So what are your key tips that you can say?
Do it first. I think that's like I mentioned earlier.
Just to start first. Right?
Okay. So whenever you have a plan, the plan may not be perfect. And a lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs that I met, sometimes they want to make sure that the plan is perfect before they actually execute something. But in our journey is that we execute it first. Just like how I mentioned to you, how we pivot our business from advertising model to car buying model and a used car model, right? So we have to kickstart something first, and then we can be able to see the response from the market, and from there we make decision again to change the plan and then execute it and test it out again. So I think more importantly is that you need to do it first. By doing it first, then you learn from there. Yeah, so that's the very important thing.
So you're flexible to any form of changes as well.
Exactly. We have to adapt.
Yeah,
to change.
So what else is important after like making sure it's like adaptability?
You have to also measure the results, obviously, right? So you have to always tell yourself, like, set a timeline. How long you need to measure the result for. If you set yourself for 3 months, then 3 months time, measure the result, how it looks like. And from there, you change your strategy again, take it around, execute another plan again. Yeah, so that's the kind of way of how we did our business before that. We always do it first, realize, okay, this is something that we can go again. Then we can pivot the business or maybe add different functions. Yeah, so you need to do it first.
Sure.
Yeah, if you don't do it first, you will never know the answers, right? Just giving you an example, how games always sort of release a prototype in the Play Store, testing, right? So from that testing itself, they sort of know more about what the audience want, and then from there they sort of gamify, adding on more stuff and make it more interesting, and then officially launching it, right? So yeah, it's a similar kind of way that I would suggest always launch it first, do it first, and then from there you test.
Okay, so to finish things off, we have this very small little game called Final Confession. Okay, so which I'm going to ask you a series of like a quick 5 random questions.
Okay.
And you don't have much time to think, and you have to answer it as fast as possible. Okay, so you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So, what is your biggest adrenaline rush in business?
I would say the first time when we got our first funding. Yeah, it's always the beginning time that you got your first funding. It makes you feel very excited.
Sure, somebody has trusted you.
Yes,
with their money.
Yep.
So, what's your biggest adrenaline rush in your personal life?
Probably roller coaster ride because I'm afraid of heights.
Okay. What's the most exciting part of being a CEO?
Able to have the authority to be able to provide different solutions to help people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the boldest risk you have ever taken that paid off?
Starting Carsome.
Of course. Yeah, so what inspires your leadership style?
Being human.
So what's your hobby?
Football.
So what motivates you every day?
My team.
So what's your most significant lesson you learn in life?
I would say that stay calm, think twice before you act.
So what's the one book that every entrepreneur must read?
I must admit I'm not an avid reader.
Okay.
But there's one book I still remember. My girlfriend back then, wife right now, has actually recommended me this book. Is called The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
Yes. Great author. So what's your proudest moment as a CEO?
Of course, being able to provide more opportunities for the people, basically building the business, creating more job opportunities. At the same time on Carsome Academy, and is basically able to help more students with more education and also helping them with jobs and transforming their lives.
So you guys have done a fantastic job so far. So what's the wildest goal that you have for Carsome that even right now, if you want to talk about it, it sounds like, that happened, it's like like a miracle?
I would maybe becoming a car manufacturer in the future. Not a car manufacturer, but electric car manufacturer.
That's
the future,
much better
right?
goal. Okay, great. So JT, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank
it
you,
was really
Reza.
an honor to talk to you.
Thank you, Reza.
Okay, guys, this was the season finale of Life Confessions with me. We hope that you have enjoyed listening to each episode thus far. It has been an absolute privilege to be able to speak to such inspiring guests, and we hope that you have taken away a thing or two from hearing each and every single one of their stories. In the meantime, stay inspired and take care.